The National Transportation Safety Board is now updating us on that deadly train crash in Hoboken. Let's listen in live.
This morning, we held an organizational meeting and identified parties to the investigation. I'd like to explain a little more in detail about our party process. And this is a process that has been in place for more than 30 years at the NTSB. The NTSB offers this type of party status to governments, organizations, and companies and associations that have employees, activities, or equipment that is involved in this accident. We offer party status to these organizations because they provide the technical expertise and the relevant information supporting the development of the best possible factual record. The parties are the Federal Railroad Administration, the New Jersey Transit, the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, or BLET, Sheet Metal, Air, Railroad, and Transportation Workers, SMART, Transportation Division, and the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, or BRS. To be clear, once a party joins the NTSB's investigation, they are not permitted to release information or talk publicly about the investigation without the consent of the investigator in charge. Rest assured that all of our parties are complying with the requirement, and they are cooperating fully with the NTSB investigators in helping to gather the facts. However, it is only the NTSB that will release information about this investigation. The NTSB has put together a multidisciplinary team to investigate every aspect of this accident. Our team, led by Mr. Jim Southworth, the investigator in charge, who's here at my right. He's a highly experienced rail investigator, and we've made progress in a number of areas. Our teams have been hard at work today gathering key evidence that we need to ensure the completeness of our investigation. So here's what our investigators are working on as we speak. Our Human Performance Group is examining documentation regarding crew member qualifications, training, scheduling, health, and any activities at the time of the accident and during the 72 hours prior to this accident. We've obtained blood and urine samples from the engineer, which the NTSB and FRA have sent for toxicology examination. As we speak, the operations group is conducting and scheduling interviews with the conductor, the brakeman, and the engineer. They'll also be traveling to New Jersey Transit to gather records on certification, proficiency testing, and the training records. In our mechanical and recorder group, the event recorder from the locomotive was removed yesterday evening. We were unable to download the recorder here on scene, so the NTSB is working with the manufacturer of the recorder to perform a download at the manufacturer's facility. As soon as the site is safe, the NTSB will retrieve the other event recorder from the lead cab car, as well as the forward-facing image recorder. Once the NTSB has a successful download, investigators will use that information to validate speed and get that information about the train. Additional information that's typically recorded on event recorders includes things such as the distance traveled, the throttle inputs, the brake application, and the brake system performance. We also have obtained security video from the Hoboken station, and we're in the process of reviewing that. Other external camera sources are also being investigated. Our track group is working with New Jersey Transit to obtain the engineering records. They'll be conducting an NTSB drone survey of the track itself approaching Hoboken Terminal. They're conducting a walking track assessment with New Jersey Transit and FRA this afternoon. Our survival factors requested documentation regarding radio recordings, station drawings, and car specifications. They also started making contact with passengers who are aboard the train. Our signals group began inspecting switches in the area leading up to the accident. However, they cannot complete the signal testing until the train is actually removed from the track. Additionally, we brought our 3D scanning equipment on scene. Once we do obtain access to the rail cars, we'll use this equipment to create a 3D model of the exterior and the interior of the rail cars as another way to study the damage. And due to the significant damage in the canopy covering the tracks, we're still waiting for contractors to remove the canopy so that we can access the rail cars. Ensuring safety is the primary focus in the removal of this canopy. It may be a day or two more before we can gain full access to the site. However, I want to emphasize that there is no perishable evidence aboard this train. The New Jersey Transit Police Department has secured the scene for us, and the information on the event recorder and the forward-facing video will not be affected by this delay. Our investigation is progressing, and all of our teams are working around the clock. And we're gathering information and facts that will help determine what caused this accident so that we can prevent them from happening again. As to the schedule going forward, our investigation is ongoing. We are working closely with our parties to gather the principal evidence and key measurements to expedite our on-scene activities. We expect to be on scene for 7 to 10 days, but we will stay here for as long as it takes. I do want to emphasize it's still early on in our investigation. Our objective is, as always, to not just find out what happened, but why it happened, so we can prevent it from happening again. Let me reiterate that this is the fact-gathering phase of the investigation. So we will not be determining the probable cause on scene, nor will we speculate about what may have caused this accident. We'll also be holding additional briefings as we have further information to report. We're requesting that passengers on the train or those on the platform who have information that might be relevant and help our investigation to contact us at witness@ntsb.gov. And for the latest information on media briefings, you can use our Twitter account, which is, our handle is @NTSB_newsroom, or look on our website, which is ntsb.gov. So now I'd be happy to take a few questions, but to ask a question, please raise your hand, I'll recognize you, and please identify yourself. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Scott Fallon with Bergen Record. When do you expect to have the toxicology reports back, and will you make that public?
The question is, when will we have the toxicology report back, and will we make that public? The toxicology has been sent to the labs, which are in Oklahoma City. It's a very detailed and specific type of analysis. It looks at both prescription and non-prescription drugs. It looks at a wide range. It will take a while, so we're not sure. We'll let you know if the lab gives us a date, and that will be part of the factual record, and it'll be on the public docket when we release that. Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, can you characterize the conversations that you have already had with the crew members and specifically with the engineer? Can you characterize how those conversations have gone and how cooperative he has been?
The question is, can we characterize the conversations that we've had so far in our interviews? And first, I'd like to say that the crew members have been very cooperative, and we appreciate that. We do not reveal any information from the interviews because we're in the process of having them, so we don't want to bias any of the interviews. But as we get information, we'll give it to you. We hope to give you some information from the interviews tomorrow. Yes.
David Curley from ABC. Have you had a chance to actually speak to the engineer who was in charge of the train? And you said you got station video. Have you seen that video where all the cameras are working? Do you have a good sense of what happened in the final few seconds visually?
So the first question is, have we spoken to the engineer? And yes, our investigators are in touch with the engineer. Unfortunately, as you may know, he was injured, so we're scheduling the interview with him. But we have been in touch with him. And the second question is, have we obtained the, what have we seen on the video footage? There is a lot of video footage from many different sources. There is a lot of different types of video data. So we are collecting that, and we will look at that very carefully.
The governor said yesterday that, and he said it again today, of New Jersey, that speed was the problem. This train came in too quickly. Do you agree with that?
We do not speculate. We are waiting to get the actual information before we make any comments. Yes, sir.
NBC Radio, just want to clarify. We know that the engineer has been cooperating with investigators, but your investigators are still scheduling an interview. Why hasn't that interview already taken place?
The question is, why have some of the interviews not taken place? And we have spoken to all of the crew members. As I said, they've been cooperative. There is, one who's injured, so we're just doing it at their convenience, and we will talk to them. But they have been cooperative.
Hi,
Yes.
Jessica with WCBS. In addition to the structural damage at the train station, how big a concern is the asbestos? We're hearing that some workers had to leave because it was such an issue today.
The question is about the asbestos and about the concern about the asbestos. And obviously, as we have structural concerns, we also have environmental concerns. We are looking at that. We are checking the air quality. Checking during a thunderstorm is not the ideal condition, so we want to make sure that our area is as safe as possible before we send any investigators in. But rest assured that once it is safe, we will go in there. We just want to make absolutely sure. The weather has been a bit of a hindrance. But on that note, I should emphasize that this doesn't mean we're standing around doing nothing. We are doing a lot of work. There is much to be done, even without access to those cars at the moment. We are collecting lots of records. We're talking to people. We're looking at the progress of this train and looking at other parts of the track. So there's a lot to be done. And since the information is non-perishable, we'll get it when it's safe to get it. Yes.
Pablo Gutierrez, Telemundo, you indicated that if people were traveling in that train, you're asking them to talk to the NTSB. Have you spoken to any of the passengers yet? Some of them indicated that the train was traveling at a faster rate of speed than usual in this area. Are you aware of those comments? And how much of that of a concern is that?
The question is, have we contacted or been contacted by any passengers on the train, and what have they said? Yes, our investigators have been in touch with some passengers on the train and in the platform, and we appreciate the cooperation. And once we have information that we're ready to release, we'll do that. We don't want to speculate about anything that is happening until we have all the facts, though. Yes.
Hi, Natalie with Final One News. Can you just describe, even in general, how far along the train you've been able to access the back car near the locomotive? Just how far in have you been able to get at this point with all the damage you've been talking about?
The question is, how much of the train have we been able to access? And so let me start by saying that it is, at first it was a little bit unclear the length of the train, but it is 3 cars with a locomotive. We have been able to access the locomotive itself. I may ask our investigator in charge to tell you a little bit more. I've gotten as close as I can safely, but he's actually looked a little bit closer, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Southworth.
Early on, some of our efforts were at the rear of the train, which is where the locomotive power is. And our interest, of course, were being able to have access to that event recorder. And as we stated before, we have taken that event recorder, and it was not downloadable here on site, so we sent it off to the manufacturer under the supervision of a recorder specialist with our laboratory in Washington, D.C. So that's at the back end of the train as you enter into the station area. Because of the asbestos and because of the unsettled structures that we're not sure about, I'm not allowing anybody to go in there, okay? None of the evidence that's in there is perishable. I have time to go in there and get that. I've got multitudes of other work that's being done on record keeping, maintenance records, history, training, personnel records, those kinds of things. And it takes a very quick minute maybe for this to happen, and it takes quite some time to unravel, particularly with the amount of data we get. So the access we've had so far is limited to the locomotive that's at the rear of the train and not deep into the station.
Thank you, Mr. Southworth.
Brian,
yes, sir.
CNN. Yes, we know the engineer has worked for New Jersey Transit for 29 years. Do we know how long he's been a locomotive engineer?
The question is, do we know how long the engineer has been a locomotive engineer? And that's part of our record checking right now. So we're looking into employment records as well as records about not just the crew, but also about the train itself. Yes.
12, New Jersey. I've spoken with Senator Menendez yesterday. He would express some hope of getting the train station open in segments, incrementally, particularly some of the tracks further away from the crash scene. And he had mentioned as early as Monday. Has there been any outreach from any other agencies to the investigating agency about opening the train station in segments, and how realistic is that?
The question is about reopening the station, and our focus and our mission here is on the investigation. So we want to make sure that we preserve the integrity of this investigation and any information that's there first. Once that's done, then we'll be able to, once the IIC, Mr. Southworth, declares that we've done all we can on the scene, then we will remove the train from that place. How long it takes to repair the tracks and all of that, we can't say, and we'll turn that over to the local authorities to do that.
Chair,
and I'll take one more question. Yes.
Thomas Gallagher, the engineer, is injured, he's healing, but at the same time, just as you got drug and toxic samples right away, is there a concern that over time, innocently or otherwise, recollections can fade, memories can shift of what those moments were like, as far as talking to him and talking to him now?
So I believe the question is, are we concerned about waiting in order to conduct these interviews? And we will be conducting them very soon, so there won't be that much time elapsed. Of course, sometimes people will remember things later on and also contact us. So we don't see that this is going to be an impediment to any recollection. We also look at other evidence in addition to the interview. So I think we'll have plenty of evidence. And that is my final questions. But thank you very much for coming.
Right now, is that true?
Okay, we've been listening as the National Transportation Safety Board gave us their update today. Bella Dinzar, the vice chair, very crisp and to the point, no speculating, just the facts. And here's what they told us, the main headlines. They are yet to talk to the engineer, Thomas Gallagher. They have taken blood and urine samples. They are on their way to toxicology for examination. They have recovered one black box recorder. They're looking to download information with the help of the manufacturer. They've sent it away for that. They're looking for one more black box. Let's see, and they can't get to the rail cars at this point because the contractor is yet to get in there. The rain, the weather, making that difficult as well. So very little you can conclude at this point, having not gotten much closer than that.
Yeah, they need to get rid of that canopy that's laying on top of the wreckage to inspect the structural support there. Safety, obviously, is the #1 key.